Hello, everyone. It's episode 59, the General Damage Podcast.
What's up, y'all?
How's it going?
Yeah. I'm Nick.
I'm Will.
And I'm Shane.
5 years old.
Yep, I have a stepping stool just so I can speak into the microphone.
Aw, that's so cute.
What's happening? So why are you standing? Why don't you, use, fucking, phone books or some shit? Or tablets?
Actually, the phone book's what's keeping my computer off the table.
Is it really?
Not right now, actually, but that's my normal go-to when my computer overheats.
Dude, that is honestly the only use for a phone book these days.
I know, right?
My, one of my coworkers, his computer is supported by 3 manuals of what the job entitles.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, those will come in handy, dude. It's like, need to look up that regulation numbers in volume 2. It's that middle book that's holding your computer up.
Dude. It is funny how, as technology has grown, how worthless a phone book really is.
I mean, the big thing about phone books is it's good to use them to teach little kids how to look shit up in a book.
Yeah.
But
yeah, sure.
But outside of
so
that,
is a dictionary.
Yeah, but outside of that, I can't find a use for it anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I can't really find a use for it. It's one of those things with phone books and taxis where they saw this wave coming and went, that's nothing. And they didn't immediately latch onto it. Like, if you see this thing coming and then you see, your kids get instant information off of the internet, wisely nowadays you probably immediately go, we need to do something, we need to have a yellowbook.com or with a bunch of all the information that we have in the book online.
Isn't there yellowpages.com?
Is there? I don't think. I mean, there may be. God only knows.
There probably is,
but even then, who would use it?
But it can't compete with Yelp. That's what I'm saying. They missed the boat.
Oh, I mean, I do just in general. The whole point of a phone book is to look up an address, right?
Yeah.
Or a phone number or store hours. And the thing is,
right.
It's Google does that by default.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in the beginning of the internet because Google didn't do that by default. So if Yellow Pages was smart, if the phone books were smart, they would have immediately done that in the beginning. But they didn't, because they said, that's nothing to that wave. And taxis did the same thing to Lyft and Uber. Yeah. They should have immediately copied it, and they didn't.
Either copied or invested straight into it.
Yeah.
Because both these businesses had the infrastructure set up for it.
Yeah.
And then in one case, all that information would need to be digitized. And then the other one, you just change your kind of work composition of it. You keep your same drivers, you just make it more comfortable for passengers and more easy to get to by app development. And boom, you could easily quell these companies from ever starting because you already created it.
Yeah.
But they missed the boat.
And so music companies and music record companies missed the boat when it came to online distribution.
Oh yeah.
So now you don't have big record companies anymore.
If
you have iTunes.
If I was the guy who did Lyft or Uber, if I was the guy who came up with that,
yeah.
I think once I had amassed enough money, I think my first thing I would have done was bought a cab company. And then
because you have the records already there.
Yeah, and then you create checks. Uber Premium.
Mm-hmm.
You remodify all the cars. You make them look nice, right? You just take the workforce of people who already want to do it, just teach them all the digital stuff, and then it's you can get a regular Uber, and that's the normal prices, right? Mm-hmm. Or you sign up for a yearly subscription, you get Uber Premium, which prioritizes you and stuff. Uber is a really cool concept, but the problem is because they wanted to keep it a free roaming platform. They ran into all these issues with regulations and, of course, all the sexual assault-ish charges that pop up every now and then again, and all the scandal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the reason why is because the guy was well, I just want to keep it this thing where anyone can do it, but it's you should have put a better cap on that, and then you should have taken all of these taxi drivers who want to be, who want money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You should have just bought them and then make them better, like give them better free reign at their jobs, boom, you just kind of corner the market on public transportation.
Yeah.
Right.
Like make an enemy out of the buses instead of the taxis.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you would ever make an enemy at the buses, but you definitely would, help with transportation just in general with, taxis and stuff like that. But the real thing is, it doesn't matter if he bought, like if the guy who headed Uber or headed Lyft, if they bought a cab company and did what you said, because the reality is they are seeing that wave that's ahead of them, and they don't care about buying the cab companies because what they see in front of them is automation.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be talking about Uber in 10 years as the biggest transportation company in the world that has no drivers. So that's kind of where it's headed. That's what I think.
That's an okay
an Uber's
place
gonna
to
pull
go.
up. An Uber's going to pull up. There's no one in the driver's seat, and you're just going to hop in and trust it. That's what's going to happen.
I mean, that's a fine place, I guess. But I feel like we're not there yet.
Well, I said 10 years.
10 years.
I think it may be even longer than 10 years, to be honest.
Well,
but before we fully commit to it, it'll 10 years. You'll see the start of it. In 20 years, I think it'll just be the norm.
Yeah, well, 10 and 20 years, it'll definitely be the norm. We already see the start of it.
We do see the start of it, but again, we haven't fully committed to it because not everything's there.
Well, yeah, there's that, but we also have a generation that's in power that doesn't get it and doesn't want it. Yeah. The people in in the auto factories and stuff like that aren't afraid of immigrants taking their jobs. They're afraid of robots taking their jobs.
Right.
That's what you're competing with. So 10 years, the technology will really be there. Another 10 or 20 years for laws and government to quote unquote catch up.
Yeah. And that's right. That's why I say in 10 years, me personally, I'm not hopping into an automated system without 100%. Yeah, this thing will work and won't drive me to the middle of nowhere, or that I know that it's fully secure. 20 years, yeah, sure. I've probably seen the growth of it. So it's just that's fine. That's how it is. There's enough protection behind it that I ain't getting fucked on the deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, you never know. In the next 10 years, technology will be way beyond what we think it is now.
Well, we hope it is. How about that? There's no guarantee on any of this.
I agree with what you're saying, Nick, that technology is always going to be jumping forward.
Yeah.
But I always think it's whenever someone really speculates about the next big thing, I always just bring up Tomorrowland, flying cars, man.
I'm not predicting what I'm not going to say. I'm not going to pull a Peter Moore and say the next big thing of games is going to be free to play. But I'm saying we're going to see a huge jump in the next 10 to 15 years. It's going to be more so than it has been in the last 30. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the rate with the Boston Institute of Technology, those jackoffs keep making robots.
Yeah.
Once they teach you to play hockey, we're all set.
What else are a bunch of engineers going to fucking do?
Well, I mean, haven't you seen all the videos?
Drink heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make the robots. For anyone who hasn't seen it, look up Boston Institute of Technology. I think that's what it is.
Boston, or are you talking about MIT, which is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology?
Well, I mean, no, there's a robotics school in Boston specifically.
Okay.
They're the ones that put up all the videos. And someone once asked me, why are they only using a hockey stick to mess with the robot?
Mm-hmm.
I'm because that's the goal. They're going to teach that thing to fucking play hockey.
Eh.
I mean, that's logically a bunch of guys at Boston who are engineers. That's their next step. That or baseball. But actually, honestly, that's what I want to see. Believe it or not. You know what was it? People talk about futuristic society stuff, right? I always like seeing robots playing sports.
Okay.
I really like that idea because they're gonna push. A machine could push the way we play sports more than a person could ever, without steroids.
Well, yeah.
So it's I always want to see football, but with gigantic Titan robots going through really playing the game and being destructive.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, seeing that be kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like you're not really into the game. You're just into see. It's like watching NASCAR and just wanting all the cars to crash.
Yeah. I guess it's pretty much the same mentality. Yeah,
that's what you're hoping for in a robots in sports.
Yeah, but at least it's less fucked up because I'm hoping people don't get hurt.
Who knows? I mean, that could be a game that's entirely broadcast in a holographic setting because of shrapnel. I mean, seriously, I don't think there's enough barriers or anything like that, or thick enough glass, or whatever the hell you want to use, to withstand an exploding robot sending shrapnel towards the audience.
No, you got a pretty good point there.
I mean, that's why we have technology and growth.
Yeah,
so, it'll be developed for it.
Baseballs are pretty fucking dangerous as they are. I mean, there's I don't know why this hasn't been implemented, but they haven't put a net around the whole fucking audience yet in baseball, and there have been a number of injuries from fly balls.
Yeah. I think
jaws broken and everything else.
I think without with the net, it takes away that childhood allure of trying to catch a stray ball, which it's a really far-fetched dream, and I never really got it.
Yeah, I guess, but at the same time, it's the difference between a fly ball and you watch the fly ball and you want to catch it because you're paying attention, and the guy who just came back from the bathroom who's not paying attention and gets hit, which happens more often than you think.
I'm pretty aware. I watch a lot of baseball.
But I know in Japan, and I'm doing the thing that I hate doing in Japan, because baseball's fucking just gigantic over there. There's a net throughout the whole park. And then there's an area that's not netted, where you can spend a little extra money and live in this danger zone area to catch fly balls, but they give you a batter's helmet.
That's super fucking smart.
Yeah, I know, and the MLB should copy it. Says the guy that never watches sports to begin with.
I mean, I've been at live baseball games, hometown stuff.
Yeah.
Where I've seen, stray balls either clip someone or, actually, the most terrifying thing was I've seen a stray ball it missed by, a margin of, half a foot.
Uh-huh.
Almost hit, a toddler.
Jesus Christ.
It was a fucking... The guy hit it. It was a foul grounder. And you could just hear that thing kicking up dirt.
Yeah.
I think everyone had a heart attack.
Yeah. But, that's what I'm talking about. All the adults and maybe a few teenagers can definitely react, but what the fuck is a baby gonna do?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I think, they should have a fucking net and then do what Japan does and just have a section that's okay, well, here's... If you want to catch one, here. Sit over here. But it's kind of whatever. I just realized it's May and baseball season started.
Yep.
Hey, I'm not watching that, so fuck it. I watched one game last year, and that was the 7th game of the World Series, and I was like, oh, cool. I just witnessed history. That's neat.
Currently, I've been watching the Stanley Cup playoffs go on, and as of today, which is
the 10th?
May 10th, Penguins are in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Again?
They are, I think, facing down the Ducks, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shit.
Is Emilio Estevez helping the Ducks again?
No, he's not.
Oh, well,
that said, Crosby, I'm hoping is gonna lead the Gwins to crushing the Ducks. Fuck them. So I'm rooting for the Gwins.
Okay.
Hey man, gotta root for one of the two teams I enjoy. Well, one of the few teams I like watching, and I know enough of the players. So,
right.
Yeah, go Gwins! Fuck yeah!
Man, I like watching baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like watching baseball with certain family members because most of just the yelling.
Yeah, that's the reason why I never liked sports to begin with.
But it's
the yelling.
But the one thing that gets me is like, I was flipping through the channels today, right?
Right.
And the Cleveland show was on, and it's interesting because of a time.
Oh,
of baseball.
Black Family Guy. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what
I
happened
had to think for a second, for real.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, a lot of people forgot the show was there. Anyways, Cleveland talks to like his old high school coach, and it's about baseball, right? And his son doesn't want to play baseball. The coach says, "No one's born liking baseball. You have to make them like it, or you have to give them a reason to like it." And I thought about that statement, and I was like, I mean, that's applicable to a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But out of all of the sports, I feel like baseball is one of those ones where it definitely needs a little bit of a nudge because it is the least. From a lot of people I know who like sports, baseball is always the least fun to watch.
It's the least fun to watch on TV.
Yeah,
because you know when it's like a dumbass sport to watch on TV when the announcers are talking about that dumbass that picked his nose for 5 minutes. It's like when they're talking about an audience, a member, for 5 minutes, you know it's a boring ass game, and you don't give a shit. That's the problem with watching baseball on TV. Going to a live game, it's different because you can blink and oh shit, it's the seventh inning. Okay.
Yeah.
And also I played Little League in the 4th grade. I had a lot of fun with that, but it's a difference between doing and watching. So
I feel ya. Have you ever watched golf on TV?
God, why would you ever do that? That sport. A, I question if it's a sport, but I get that it is classified as a sport. B, is intensely boring.
It is. Okay, I'm just gonna you know the Mark Twain, you know the quote about what Mark Twain said about golf.
Can't remember.
No.
All golf is ruin a nice walk in the woods.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
That's all golf is.
Yeah.
It just, and I don't give a shit.
Well, so my stepdad plays golf.
Okay.
Wow.
Bully for him. Soto's our president.
A while ago, we were watching the Masters, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, the thing about golf that I can't wrap my head around, and like I get why people would like to watch the sport that they like to play. I get that.
Right.
But golf is one of those things where I don't know why you need multiple announcers. Because there's so much dead time.
So it's a keeper. It's all you get in golf. You get pedophile whispers, what you get in golf.
Well, I mean, like, they talk a little bit louder than that, but like the one thing that gets me is
still
like
pedophile whisper.
But most of the time though, the things that they're talking about, I feel like one person could cover. It's just like two guys just like reaffirming each other's suspicions about how the putt's gonna go.
Well, that's all any sport is.
Yeah, but the difference is like in football, it's such a high speed thing, right? Like there's always like some guys like talking. He's like, "Oh no, wait, watch this," and like you see like they see things differently. But in golf, because it's so slow, everyone's seeing it the same way, in my opinion.
Well, all announcers do is just point out the obvious. You know, if you take Frank Caliendo's joke with John Madden, it's pretty much every announcer in every sport. If they get the football into the end zone, they'll get a touchdown. No shit. You know, if that guy swings his club and hits the golf ball and it lands fairly close to the hole, he's got a good thing going. That's it. You know, what the batter needs to do is he needs to swing the bat to hit the ball. And hopefully no one will catch it. Ooh.
Welcome to General Damage, sports episode. My god.
My problem with sport here, my problem with just today in general, with this is like everything, is the overanalyzation of it, and sports are notorious for that. You know, it like they break down things down to like the 1/10%. You know, and they bring up history, like when he was in 4th grade, he played Little League. He's a 320-pound linebacker. What does that have to do with anything? I don't get it. I don't get why they just have to keep talking incessantly about like just this random shit about this one player. And then you take something else that's just as benign, like the State of the Union address, and right as the president gets done addressing it, this happened like last year or 2 years ago when I was watching it with Obama, immediately there's analysis. There's people like, picking apart every fucking word, and it's just like, can we just absorb it and think? And with sports, it's kind of the same thing. Can we just enjoy and cheer and maybe get a little drunk? But no, there's like hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in sports.
Well, I mean,
I hate it.
America's pastime.
Yeah, well, I fucking hate it. I never got into it, and I hate it.
I mean, yeah. The one thing that I find interesting about the overall analyzation at this point,
what,
is that you can we've gotten to the point now where we can tell when someone's completely bullshitting it versus actually analyzation.
How so?
You can tell someone's making shit up because they'll repeat similar phrases over again, or they'll try to drive home a point or reiterate the same point, or they'll kind of peck around an idea but won't commit to anything, versus people who actually know how to analyze stuff. They'll commit to an idea, they'll explain why it's an important one, they'll move on to the next topic. But, we've gotten to the point now where we can discern bullshitters from people who know what they're talking about.
Okay.
I mean, it's just interesting because sometimes I'll hear someone analyzing, say, a movie trailer.
Oh, that I hate.
Yeah, right. That's terrible.
I talked about
but
that.
You could tell who actually knows what they're talking about, or who has some understanding of film, because they'll talk about it in that way, right? And then if I ask someone off the street, or if I talk to a friend who kind of knows Marvel, right, but they don't really, they just kind of bullshit because they just pick around this one idea that they know. People interest me that way.
I think, I like picking apart a film after the film's been out, whether it be an animation film or a sci-fi film or something like that, just for how they directed it, how they acted it. Which I feel is a bit different than what an announcer at a sports game does.
I mean, yeah.
But I'll be damned if General Damage is ever going to break down a trailer.
We talk about what we like in trailers, but there's no... It's not like we have the ability to do a play-by-play freeze-frame breakdown.
Yeah, there's no way in hell.
You say that, Shane, but we do. We just choose to not do that because it's not worth it.
Not worth it. Time-consuming, and honestly, better things to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking a 2-minute trailer and making a 10-minute video out of it and freeze-framing it and circling over the shit we see is bullshit to me. Talking about it, saying, hey, the Dark Tower trailer came out, it looks really awesome, this is happening, that's totally different in my opinion. It's us excited. It's us excited and us all contemplating about reading the actual book.
Still gotta pick up a copy.
Ditto.
I just need to chat with my brother about stealing his copy.
Well, just steal it then.
I have no idea where it is in his room, otherwise I would have taken it.
It is buried in the darkest dungeon known as the closet.
I like to think your brother is a bit cleaner. I don't know why I get that impression.
Oh man, he is.
Okay.
Most definitely is. I can work in chaos. He needs to work in order.
Okay, yeah, so the mess is just his face with the tangleness of beard?
Well, he keeps it fairly trim. He recently trimmed it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I think I just saw, you shared a memory and he looked like a terrorist in the photo. Or not a terrorist, that's wrong. He looked like a brown hillbilly. That's better.
He had a huge beard in that shot.
Yeah, it was fucking massive.
Well, we're talking about movies. You guys saw Guardians.
Yeah, we saw Guardians. You did not, so we won't spoil anything. We won't spoil anything. Yet. Probably next week. Despite a little bit of pacing issues, I really liked it. It has stayed with me, and I want to go see it again.
Yeah, overall, I will say the movie is very good. We did have, as we were talking about at the end of the movie, The thing that we've expressed about some of the Marvel villains is of the past couple dozen movies. That feeling again with it. But the villain, like his drive and his want, are laid out very clear and understandable. So you're not just going, oh, all right, he's just doing evil things because he's evil. He's not necessarily evil. He just has a drive and a purpose. And that unfortunately conflicts with others.
And his purpose is fucked up. It's a purpose, but it's fucked up purpose.
It's a very much fucked up purpose.
Yeah, I'm just to go a little forward with Marvel villains. I'm really hoping that, goddamn, what's his name? He's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie.
Vulture.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. Yeah, Vulture. I'm hoping he's going to be an interesting villain in this one, or if he's just going to be a lame blah blah blah. My family. Or if he's lame, or even if he's good, I'm hoping Kate Blanchett as Hel or Hela, whatever they're going to name her, and Thor is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping for one of those two to pan out and be really compelling, because the last compelling villain we've gotten for Marvel, I think, was Loki, and that was 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so. And at the same time, Thanos better come fucking through with that. Because if Thanos ain't compelling, ugh.
I mean, they dropped the ball at that point.
I mean, seriously, it's an 8-year wait for nothing.
Yeah.
A 6-year wait. But yeah, so.
Yeah, all in all, the movie is very fun. And the movie also excels at taking the characters that we were left with at the end of Guardians 1 and further developing them more.
Yeah. This isn't going to spoil anything for you, Shane, but I actually found out why Baby Groot is, Baby Groot.
Uh-huh.
And it should have been clear when the movie started because they put a date up. This movie takes place in 2014.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So it's only been 3 years, 3 months after the first events.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it too. I think it's even before Winter Soldier and definitely before Age of Ultron. I was looking at that when I was reading the trivia on IMDb. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have like a whole timeline, like when this all takes place. So the next time, whenever we see the Guardians, we'll be in Avengers: Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of hoping to see him in Thor, but who knows?
That'll be interesting, though, because now you're going to have a bit of a time skip between this movie and whatever movies come out next.
Well, I think that'll be really good because of some sequences that they showed towards the end of this movie.
Yes.
So this is one thing to know, Shane. Stick around throughout.
Yeah.
I heard there's 5 of them.
There are 5 little short snippets, and I'd say 2 of them are pretty important.
No problem.
Yeah. And the other 3 are fun. They just kind of lend themselves kind of nice to, rounding out some little unanswered questions or some like kind of cool little things. But like 2 of them give some good I wonder if this is going to be a thing type moment. So
okay,
it's worth it, and you'll know kind of which ones are more jokey and which ones are more kind of relevant to kind of the overall feel of what's going to happen with the Guardians. So yeah, the other thing that I think they do well with the Guardians movies, other than it is a fun comparatively to some of the other superheroes in the Marvel universe, they're the less serious group. But they have their own levels of seriousness. And then like with that, they can kind of have these fun, crazy moments. But like the music always is just like it's an important factor, and it fits the feel of it every time.
I was listening to the soundtrack yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty good. I also read this article that was interesting. It was like the evolution of Peter, where he would just listen to music by himself with his headphones on.
Yeah.
But now he's more willing to constantly play it for everyone, which is kind of him saying, "Okay, you're into it. You're my friends. You're my crew. You're family. Whatever. This is what it's about."
Yeah.
And I'm just stopping myself short because I'm about to spoil something. Yeah. But it's kind of what it's about.
And it's great where, you bring that up, Nick. The moments where he's listening to music by himself, you can tell that there's kind of a dilemma that's going on with him. And he needs to work it out. And rather than, and he needs to work it out internally. And so he does that by, like, putting the headphones on and kind of going to his kind of quiet space or his kind of personal space and kind of focusing on how he can address it.
Yeah.
And there are sequences that that like something's going on in his head and it's great.
Yeah. But the other thing is like the articles that I was telling you I was mad about before I started the podcast. Mm-hmm. They were talking about moments in it. They felt like it was too jam-packed and everything. And this is like if we had the Avengers movie without all the standalone movies. It's just there's too much or something like that, or not enough. And I'm like, maybe a little bit, but I felt like everyone had a moment. Rocket definitely had his moment. Yondu had a moment. Everyone had a moment. Drax especially. Drax's moment, I think, was probably the most poignant because like his character is kind of just like he accepts this is it, and this is what I went through.
Yeah.
But he still had a good moment with it. Mm-hmm. And with Mantis, he had that great moment. So.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Nick. Everybody kind of has a moment somewhere, whether it be redemption or evolution to their characters. And I think you definitely get a sense of kind of their growth as a character. Sure, I can see where they're like it felt a little jam packed. But I didn't feel like it hampered the flow of the movie.
No, it really didn't hamper it.
Yeah, I felt like those moments, like they kind of worked with where things were going.
Yeah. At the same time, it's like, for the exception of them, for the majority of all of them being aliens and having their own shtick, their own abilities, and Peter being hotshot human with cool blasters and whatever.
Yeah. And
Gamora being cybernetically enhanced, and Drax being just a berserker, and Groot being a tree, and Rocket being an engineer and a cybernetically enhanced raccoon. Mm-hmm. They're not superheroes like Iron Man or Thor or Captain America. They're more or less just kind of regular people.
Yeah.
So having this big epic movie, they're a team, and they work better as a team. Mm-hmm. Like, none of them could do the shit that they've done by themselves. Iron Man, probably. Them, no.
Yeah. They rely on the strengths of each other, and their weaknesses are pretty laid out.
Yeah.
This movie does a good job of laying bare some of the major flaws amongst them.
And, like, all of them, it's the other thing is, like, space will kill you, and they all realize that, and I think this is the most prevalent where space can kill you. Not in the most obvious way where you stop breathing, but in other horrible ways.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. Yeah. But I like to think you know what I'm talking about, Will.
Rocket's
a little mistake. But yeah. But yeah, it was a great film. Little pacing issues, but definitely fun film, definitely funny.
Yes. Definitely sticks with you better than some of the other Marvel movies recently.
Yeah, and that's just because the characters are awesome. I mean, Kurt Russell was great.
God, I loved Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I wanted him to show up with an eye patch. I really did. I was like, oh my God, Snake Plissken. Oh, I love him so much. But I'm glad they didn't. It would have. Yeah. I think that would have just thrown me off. But he had a great role. His character was really, really great. I like. They picked the right man for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Shane, definitely when you finally get a chance to see it, we can kind of do a more spoiler-ish podcast. for that. So that way, I mean, we want you to know what we want you to have seen the things before we start, divulging them.
Yeah,
I mean, it's cool.
It's a burp.
I'll definitely see it Friday.
Cool.
It's funny though. I actually watched a lot of Marvel movies this week because I think it was either TNT or USA was just showing them over and over again. So I caught Avengers again.
Which one?
The first one.
Okay, the good one.
I mean, honestly, the way I look at the first Avengers, it's like, oh, it's Tony Stark and his amazing friends.
Yeah.
That's my personal take on it, Nick. That's just how I get
that. The thing I didn't like was when the first Avengers trailer came out, everyone's like, well, it's just going to be Iron Man 3. And in my opinion, in the Avengers, again, like Guardians, everyone had their moment. It was a good ensemble film.
No, it was a good movie. It just a lot of the key moments. Tony Stark is either in it or it is his moment. Like he's a very big driving force in that movie. And granted, he kind of has to be. It's more like I know, in my opinion, that Avengers 1 versus Age of Ultron is a much more solid film. It has a solid identity, right? But that's actually not what I want to talk about. I watched Iron Man 2 all the way through again. Like, and everyone's like Iron Man 2 is easily the worst Iron Man, or that's the popular opinion.
Yeah.
But I watched it over again, and it kind of resonated with me with that idea of like what we talked about last week. There was a good movie somewhere in this,
right?
Like I look at it and I'm like, there's certain scenes that I just love. I love the suitcase suit, right? I love the ending fight, or the whole thing with the hammer drones.
The fight with the hammer drones is neat. The fight with Whiplash is not.
No, that's the thing. It's just like it's on beat every other scene.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, and of course they replayed the first Iron Man, and I watched Iron Man 3. I just didn't watch them in order. Because different days. But so it's like, you look at it and I'm like, okay, Marvel's track record with their movies and their characters and stuff. Obviously they do great work.
Yeah, they're pretty on par.
Yeah. And even if the movie's not excellent, even if it's a weak movie, I still feel like Marvel's weakest movie
is better than any of DC movies.
Better than most movies.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Actually, it's most movies. I was going to take the pot shot this time, but
I said it.
Call Iron Man 2 one of Marvel's worst movie. Any other studio would take that as their best movie.
Oh right? Yeah, easily, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like any game company taking COD's worst year.
Yeah,
their best. Yeah, it would be another games company's best year. So that's the difference.
Well, so I recently, for my birthday, I got both Doctor Strange and Civil War DVDs.
Okay.
And I still want to go rewatch those because I really love Doctor Strange, and I actually think Civil War is probably one of my more favorite movies.
It's very good.
It's really good. It's still on Netflix. I've been meaning to watch it. I just keep forgetting.
I don't know what it is, but it's either Winter Soldier or Civil War is my favorite.
They go back and forth.
Ooh, yeah.
It's hard.
I probably give it more to Winter Soldier than Civil War, but just barely.
Well, see, the reason why I always want to say it's Civil War is because they introduce Black Panther for the first time.
Yeah.
And they introduce Spider-Man for the first time in these movies. And they do it flawlessly. And I don't need any other precursor information. I get all my information. I know who those characters are. I get what they're about.
Yeah.
And it's...
Yeah.
And
they have a good sense of self to them when they're on screen.
And, and I think... And actually, that's what I put against... I think one of the big problems is with Iron Man 2. It's Ivan Vanko, the bad guy. You have no fucking concept of this guy ever.
Right.
You can't really peg him down. His motivation obviously is family revenge, right? And then in the meantime, it's Justin Hammer or whatever fucking
it's Justin Hammer.
Yeah, he's easily more active, and you get a sense of why he's a dick and all that stuff, right? But he's not even the main bad guy.
And he should have been the main bad guy, but he should have been the incompetent main bad guy, and the problem should have been out of control AI.
Yeah.
Which technically was, but wasn't. And that's what we should have been. We could have had a huge battle with War Machine and Iron Man battling a bunch of out of control Hammerbots. Instead of just the bullshit with Vanko.
Yeah.
And a Mickey Rourke who looked like he was drooling constantly. I don't know why. There's too many close-ups of Mickey Rourke's face, and I'm like, ugh.
Well, I mean, in that movie, they tried to basically use Whiplash, except they wanted to give him Red Dynamo's backstory. And it was just, it's one of those things where it's like, it didn't hold up, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what the weird part is? Like, I feel like Whiplash in that movie, like when he's in the suit, had just a little less screen time than Ironmonger, right? In the first movie. Mm-hmm. And yet somehow I'm still more accepting of Ironmonger.
Right.
Like, I'm like, oh man, Ironmonger, great. Like, that whole last thing, awesome. And of course, Jeff Bridges just monologuing.
Well, you can't, I mean, Jeff Bridges is Jeff Bridges. I mean, I don't think he can do much wrong.
Yeah. So
I mean, he can, but he can't.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I'm comparing all these movies, and I'm like, you want to know what? Guardians is coming out. I'm pretty sure no matter what anyone says, Guardians is probably going to do better than Iron Man 2, right? Probably.
Right.
It's probably going to be at least on par with Age of Ultron, if not a little bit better, as a sequel.
Better than Age of Ultron.
Yeah. So, and then of course you brought up Spider-Man, right?
Right.
And where I'm sitting currently on Spider-Man is it's like, well, the first set of Spider-Man movies, people like them for the most part. Not so much 3.
Like 2.
Yeah,
like
everyone loves 2. Yeah. And so it's like, okay.
Everybody can agree on Spider-Man 2 was pretty good with Doc Ock.
Spider-Man 2 is probably the masterpiece of... Actually, I read an article once that said it was like the pinnacle of like a good superhero movie at the time.
It is.
At the time,
yeah.
sure, yeah.
The thing about Spider-Man 2, and if we just go back in time to say Superman 2 with Christopher Reeves, is what those two films have in common is we don't get origin stories, we just get both these superheroes fighting actual supervillains.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. This origin shit is crap. I'm looking forward to Homecoming, but I swear to God, if I get a flashback, I'm gonna be mad.
Well, I don't think we're gonna get the flashback.
But I'm afraid, Shane. You have no idea. I'm just
I know
afraid.
You're afraid, but like the way I look at it, I think there will be hints to Uncle Ben, right?
I want to have Peter pass a picture of Uncle Ben and just kiss his hand and put that on the picture of Uncle Ben and then walk out of his apartment. That's all I want.
Well, I mean,
just so that's Uncle Ben. That's all I want.
The one thing I could accept, if there's anything that's reminiscent of a flashback, is it's after Tony Stark takes away the fucking spider suit, and Peter's just sitting there in his room, and then he looks at a picture of Uncle Ben, and then he hears like some words from Uncle Ben, like a faint murmur of hopefully not great. With great power comes great responsibility, because that would be really shitty.
Yeah.
But something about being a man, taking your own destiny, something like that.
Something along those lines. Yeah.
And I could be accepting of that too. I mean,
I will not accept hearing gunshots.
Oh my God, no, please no. Yeah. But I like the direction that they're going with that, and I mean, even if the villain isn't perfect, I feel like there's a very human element to the Vulture this time around. I mean, this is the first time he's got
definitely looks better than most of the times Vulture's ever been designed.
Yeah. I mean, I just like the fact that he's a little bit more serious. Because that's the problem, is I think what made Spider-Man 2 really good was Dr. Octopus was a really serious villain. He was and the Vulture and a lot of other Spider-Man villains, they're kind of so they're kind of comedic, that they're it's weird. They fit they're not cartoony like Batman, but they're not always super serious.
Right.
Yeah.
One villain tried to turn people into dinosaurs. There's no point for that.
Right.
But on the flip side, then you get characters like Dr. Octopus who have a very straightforward thing, or Venom, who's just going to kill you.
Yeah.
And so I think the direction, ultimately, Spider-Man will probably be in the higher tier of the Marvel films. That's where I'm currently sitting at.
Okay, I hope.
Yeah. And if not, we still got Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, which I am definitely looking forward to. So I want a better trailer. Or a more expansive trailer, I guess.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's only so many times I can hear Led Zeppelin. But yeah.
Oh, really quick.
See Guardians of the Galaxy. It's good.
Really quick.
Yo.
I had the worst conversation with my mom about the ending of Thor 2.
Okay.
I love my mom, and she was watching it, the ending of Thor. She walked in and was watching the end of Thor with me. And what happened was, it's the part where Loki, pretending to be Odin, tells Thor to leave. And he's like, I can't give you my blessing or wish you well, but if I was to say something to my son, I'd say I'd be proud of a man who takes control of his destiny, right? Something like that. And then, of course, it transforms to Loki, and my mom's like, so he knows that he gave up the throne to his brother? I'm like, no, he doesn't know. But Loki knows that that's what Thor needed to hear to leave, so he told him it, right?
Right.
And she goes, okay, is that something his father would have said to him? I'm like, yes, that is exactly something Odin would have said, because Loki's really good at fucking mimicking people. But no, that's not Odin, right? And she'd be like, okay, so he knows. I'm like, no, he doesn't. And you know what I mean? It was like this weird back and forth.
Oh, she was just kind of caught in a loop of like, does Thor know? No, he doesn't know.
Yeah, and but granted, I love having moments with people who don't really understand what's going on, because in her mind,
I walk away from people like that.
Well, in her mind, because she's seen the movie before, or at least has seen parts of it with Thor and Loki interacting, and so my mom, who's not a Marvel fan, can at least tell from the on-screen performance that Thor and Loki are brothers, and while they don't like each other, there is a mutual respect of sorts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And while there may not necessarily be trust, in her mind, she's like, well, Thor would hypothetically be okay if Loki took over, if Odin wasn't there. And I thought about it. I was like, I guess she's kind of right in the right circumstances. Because it's not a seat Thor wants. Right? Like, it's not a...
Well, it's not a seat he wants now. In the first film, he wanted it. He was thirsting for it.
Oh, yeah. He was like, it's gonna be when I'm king. Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
But, yeah.
But I was just saying, like, as someone observing someone who's actually watching from the outside looking in, that's something to keep in mind, like, going into something like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is really funny because that played, and then my stepdad was like, oh, that's a great movie. I'm like, yeah, the sequel comes out Friday. And it's the first time he's seen the movie.
Well, my dad, apparently, my mom and dad saw it on Friday, on the opening night. My dad texted me, he says, if you see Guardians 2, stay till the end. And I'm like, of course, it's a Marvel movie. Of course I'm going to stay till the end. I do that for every movie, actually, because they probably know someone in the credits.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it's like 5 end credit cutscenes. Jesus. Oh, and I found out Vin Diesel did do Baby Groot.
Yeah, he did.
He did voice it. So
did they just run it through like a filter?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can manipulate sound like a motherfucker. So they just ran it through a filter.
Yeah. No, he does all the voices for Groot.
I love the commercial. I love the people who take the trailers and then they create subtitles for Groot. to kind of piece together what the conversation might actually look like.
Yeah.
Those are hilarious.
Here's the thing. James Gunn will write everything that Groot actually says in English for Vin Diesel. So when Vin Diesel reads it, he just says, I am Groot, but he knows what Groot is really saying. So there's context when Rocket or any character that understands them, so that I would love it if he releases that.
That'd be cool to read.
Yeah, so we can read it and watch the film and go, I am Groot. Oh, he said this.
Yeah.
I think
it also, I'm sure, helps with inflections.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, John DiMaggio, I saw him in it was a video of a panel he did. Mm. What's the character he did that just went rada rada?
Oh, Schnitzel.
Yeah. So he got mad at the directors and the creators of that show because he said, you're wasting paper. because all his script says was rada rada rada, and it's like, can I get to know what the hell Schnitzel's saying?
Right.
Instead of you just saying rada 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 for 12 times?
Right.
This is bullshit.
There was that one episode where he spoke normally.
Yeah. There have been like a few times where he did.
Yeah, so he would love that. John DiMaggio would have loved that, but instead he just got a script that said rada rada rada. And it's like, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely bad directing.
Oh yeah, it's bad writing. Yeah.
Well, since we're on the topic of new stuff, you guys want to hear about Prey?
Oh my god, I do.
Let's hear about Prey, and then we can talk about some kerfuffles and some what the fucks.
Yeah. I want to hear about Prey.
Well, I want to know why you think it's a kerfuffle, but let's talk about Prey.
No. The kerfuffle is for another thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so actually, I didn't get to play Prey. I did not get to play Prey first. There we go. That's the sentence.
Okay.
I let Ashley play first.
Sure.
And so on her PlayStation profile, she picks up the game, she picks female Morgan, and she starts playing the game, and she plays up for the first, I want to say, she plays through the first 35 minutes.
Okay.
All right, and she goes, "You want to take your turn?" Because we were getting ready for bed. I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll play." Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and of course, because I saw her do all this stuff, I kind of just skipped around.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't read everything and stuff because they all said the same things. But one thing I noticed in the beginning of the game is if for female Morgan, she wakes up and the alarm clock says, "Good morning, it's Monday, February 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Male Morgan wakes up and it goes, "Good morning, it's Wednesday, March 23rd.
You think that's just a randomness of the game, though?
I don't think so. Not because of how deliberate everything is. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but the best way I could put the intro of the game, and it's really just the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. I've seen demo play of it,
okay.
So I kind of know what to expect.
The first 10 minutes of this game, they automatically just tell you straight up that we're going to fuck with you as much as possible. And if that didn't go without saying, we're going to make you look like an idiot for 3 minutes.
Right.
And that's that's what happens, right? And it's also interesting, like, I keep guessing which item is going to kill me, and I'm always wrong. Like, I walked into a room, and there was, like, a health pack on the table, right?
Sure.
Right.
And I look over, and there's, like, this cluster of chairs. Mm-hmm. So I walk over, and I hit one of the chairs with my wrench.
Okay.
Nothing happens. But then I hear the music change, which means there's a monster. And I turn around, and the fucking health pack was the monster.
Crafty bastard.
And I was like, "You pieces of shit." And then you want to
I would have shot the health pack first.
What's that?
I would have shot the health pack. That's what I thought you were going to say.
No, you want to know what happened, though?
What?
After I took a swing at it, I missed. I hit a table, and that set off 2 more of them, and they were both chairs in the back of the room. So there were 3 of them.
Oh my gosh.
And then I picked hacking as a neuromod. It's the first one I picked. Because I like being able to get into all the low-level areas right away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I start hacking this door because I can, because I'm testing it out. I open it up, and I'm looking, and in this side window, I could see a phantom, which is one of the first big humanoid ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta play this real quiet." And I'm in a server room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm starting to creep into the room, behind one of the servers comes out a second phantom.
Oh.
And I was just like, I don't have the heart for this. I have a wrench. What am I gonna do? like these things. One of them, I aggroed one of them, and it shot me with like this light thing, and it killed me.
Yeah, those things are brutal.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, this is obviously going to take a little bit of practice and understanding. I'm like an hour more into it than Ashley is. And also because I pre-ordered the game, I got the shotgun.
Nice.
Shotgun is shit.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to, but I expected it to at least do damage. No,
yeah?
The only good thing about the shotgun is it knocks some of them down sometimes.
Shotguns are good for.
I mean, it's just really depressing because like you get it and you're like, okay, I can defend myself with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I shot one of the phantoms and it falls over and it does like a quarter of its health and I'm like, switch the wrench, start beating it while it's on the ground. Swear to God, please don't kill me. But that experience, right? Like I did that and then I walk out into the hallway and I'm looking around trying to, like, that's the big thing this game does is like you always have to be on the lookout, right?
Right.
And so I'm trying to guess what object in this hallway is going to kill me because there's always one.
Sure.
There was a coffee cup in the middle of the floor. I was like, oh, it's obviously this thing. I smacked the coffee cup. No, it wasn't the coffee cup. It was a book on the chair next to me.
Smack everything.
But the thing is, like, the moment you attack one thing,
oh, it sets it off.
Yeah, that's it. You get one chance, and that's it. And so it's like, well, I can see why this is fun. I'm enjoying my time. Granted, I'm paranoid as shit. And also, on the side note, I'm also super distracted because, like, the game's fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very pretty. I've heard people compare this. It's like if Dead Space and BioShock had a baby together.
Yes. And the opening sequence earlier was pretty. The game's like awesome and the music kicks ass, right?
Yeah, it's very cool.
And so, we're doing this and I'm like, okay, this game's very deliberate in its action. There's all sorts of stuff that I have to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Crafting's obviously a huge thing for survival. And, that all goes without saying. But it's definitely different to get into it and just kind of be like, oh shit, planning things out like far down the line isn't really applicable in this.
Gotcha.
Because even though like it's a Bethesda game, and if anyone's ever played a Bethesda game, most people, after you've played a couple, you know how to think far down the line, right?
Yeah.
Like where you're taking this character. In this game, it's nothing like the other Bethesda games I've played.
That's cool.
It's definitely different from, the pacing of, say, Elder Scrolls, right? And it's definitely, even though it takes place in the future, it's a little bit more easy to get used to your surroundings than Fallout.
All right.
But that said, I don't actually, like, the way they present information, the way you get, like, into the world, it's like, I don't know how I'm going to take this character. I'm not sure if Stealthy McStabber is going to be good. I'm not even sure if hacking is going to be useful later. And it's not a question of is it designed to be that way or if, like, metagame. It's just, like, I kind of can't tell why, like, the predictability of it anymore. Bethesda completely just changed themselves.
Nice.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that a lot because I was kind of smug when Ashley started playing. Because I was like, oh, it's good that you're picking up everything you can touch. She goes, why? I'm like, because in Bethesda games, you want to grab everything all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. You touch it, right? Mm-hmm. But in this case, you don't necessarily have to.
All right.
You could be a little bit more, because there's no currency.
Right, the only kind of close thing to currency is your building materials.
Yeah, and so at that point, it's like, I guess this isn't the first... Like, at first I was like, oh, the first hour is going to be run around and grab as much shit as I can.
Sure.
No, that's not it at all. The first hour is, okay, try to figure out how I can tell mimics apart from other shit.
Yeah, it's orienting yourself to your surroundings.
Yeah. And so, that's my, like, first hour into Prey, that's how I feel about it.
Cool.
And really quick, though, something that's interesting. I got Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
I played about 2.5 hours of that today.
Alright, how you liking it?
Multiplayer or...
No, just campaign.
Campaign, okay.
It's weird. It is so weird to be in a game where, like, it's so fast. It is so fucking fast-paced. And it's almost jarring to go from fucking Prey, where I'm taking everything super slow. And this game isn't even run and gun. This game's like, you better be able to gun and piss and eat and, do backflips and shit because you need to do it all at once.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's how it feels.
Titanfall 1 was a very, very fast-paced game.
Okay.
You feel it when you're playing it. You're just lightning quick. you're super light, and it's a very big transition between being a pilot and then hopping into Titan, because it's an automatic switch from being feather light to 100, like a 10-ton walking tank.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's a good switch. It's not like jarring at all, but it's a good, fast-paced game, and it's also, you know, like COD in some respect. It's a nice game of like, I can get an hour in, at least the multiplayer. I can get an hour in. I'm satisfied.
Yeah. I can't wait to play multiplayer.
Yeah, because an hour in, at least with the first one, you can level up at least once.
Yeah.
Or complete something. Complete a few things in an hour, in a few matches. So, that's what I liked.
I mean,
but I need to get that fucking game.
It was just really just like, oh, I got this because it was on sale.
Nice.
And it was my birthday, so I was like, well, why not? But yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to balance between it, because I definitely want to play more Prey, because the story there is going to be ridiculous. I know it is.
Yeah, I would just go with Prey for a little bit longer, because Prey is going to be slow and kind of methodical, because it's thriller horror kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
from the looks of it. So go with that, because if you go back and forth between the two, you might fuck up how you play, and then you fuck up. You know, you die in one of them.
Your head will spin a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I did like about playing Titanfall, though, was, even though it's a first-person perspective, the control layout and just controlling the Titan, even in story mode, it was very reminiscent of Armored Core.
Oh, nice.
And I was just like, oh, I like trying to be the human in Titanfall took a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
Once I got the bearings on how to be the fucking robot, I'm awesome at that. Because I'm just like, oh, well, I know this type of button layout and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, I could do this. So
yeah,
but yeah, that's where it is. I'll let you guys know more about Prey as I start to really get into it, because I'm only about an hour in, and like hundreds of questions, just hundreds of fucking questions,
it's
and half of them are still okay. How the fuck do I figure out what's a mimic?
Yeah.
I want to pick up the game, but like if there's something I need to pick up from an Xbox first, it's gonna be a hard drive. It has to be.
Oh yeah.
I mean, 500 gigs is eaten up like that. Considering that now with the May update for Gears 4, it's like an 85 gig game.
Woo, Jesus!
And I don't want to know how much the update I need to do for Doom is.
Yeah.
So I need a big hard drive. I need like a couple terabytes, and then I can buy Titanfall 2 and Prey.
Sure.
So that's for me. I think I'll probably get Titanfall before Prey, but maybe both. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah. Speaking of, continuing on this new trend of new games and stuff, did you guys hear about Ubisoft working on Far Cry 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you hear the theme of said game?
It's supposed theme, but yes.
Yeah, spaghetti western.
Yeah,
which is pretty dope.
I'm for a western game. I'm looking forward to Red Dead, and we probably won't get a Far Cry until next year if they're smart.
Well, so that's the thing, is that it's speculated to come out about the same time as Red Dead 2.
Yeah, and I'm gonna wait until E3.
I am too.
Verify that.
I am too, but. God damn it, Ubisoft. Can you not learn?
Or take a page out of EA's book and not do that?
Seriously.
That's
gonna to themselves.
That would suck for them.
They keep because again, it's not confirmed that it's supposed to come out the same time as Red Dead 2, which is speculated around September area. It's like September October for both of them at this point. Again, speculation. We won't know until E3 on both of them. But god damn, if you ever wanted to undermine yourself anymore as a company, like, this is how you do it. Take a page from this, kids.
Far Cry Primal came out last spring and did well.
Yeah, it did well.
Just put it out in 2018 in either in the winter or like in anywhere between January, which is a dead month, or February or March, and you'll do well.
Yeah, you do all right. Don't sabotage yourself with a game people are looking forward to more.
And more people will get Red Dead 2 than they'll get Far Cry Western.
Right. That is the fucking thing that just... Like, I heard about that, and I was like, what are they doing? Do they even understand the gravity of a mistake that they're making? That's so terrible. You don't do that. Like, you want to lose money? Damn, that's more power to you for, like, sabotaging yourself. But come on. Me as a consumer, I would like to have both. But if you're giving me if you're demanding I have to choose between the two, I'm sorry, Ubisoft, you're getting the shaft on this one.
Yeah.
This was the kerfuffle I was talking about. Just like how do you not understand that other companies are developing and they have a pretty solid speculatory time when they want to be releasing and go, yeah, that seems like a good time too for us. Yeah, especially when it feels the same. Yeah, it seems good. Let's do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like it was Ubisoft with the whole one of the Assassin's Creed things where that designer came out and said, well, it's hard to animate women.
Yeah.
And then you had the team that was working on Syndicate going, dude.
Seriously.
I mean, they were in the middle of Syndicate, and they had two characters, one of whom was female.
I know.
And that is said by their, other coworker, whatever the fuck you want to call him, how he's attached to them. It's stupid. So, like, if Far Cry 5 exists as a Western, okay, fine.
Yep.
Red Dead 2 exists as a Western. The first one came out, I think, 7 years ago, and everyone knew it and everyone loved it. And, and Far Cry, Ubisoft is going, we need something different. We've done the Tropical Island thing, we've done the Caveman thing. Oh, hey, how about Western? Cool. But, like... I don't know if they're thinking, oh, hey, we'll lose money if we don't get it out on the holiday season. You'll lose more money if you compete with Red Dead.
Oh, yeah. No.
Someone has to be smart and say that.
Someone in their financial department needs to be like, guys, it's a financial and probably, God, I guess it's not PR. Why can't I think?
It'd be PR or marketing.
Yeah, marketing. Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Marketing be saying, oh, well, everyone buys games in the holiday seasons because you put all the games out on the holiday season.
Yeah.
Give me a summer blockbuster, you fucking idiot.
You want to?
That's why I'm backlogged.
You know what would actually be really smart of them? Is I would wait a good 3 to 4 months after Red Dead releases.
Oh, yeah.
And then release it then. And I would be like, did you finish Red Dead? Want more cowboys? How about Far Cry 5? Yeah. Like, that's...
Right off of the success of something else. And you just keep fueling that like and joy. And you can maximize value.
Yes and no. Mm-hmm. Because, let's say Red Dead releases in October. 4 months from that would be what? February?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So between October and February, Red Dead will be releasing, if it doesn't come out right away with it, their online shit for Red Dead. And what they want is they want that to basically be another Grand Theft Auto thing. Like what GTA is, so they want that just to carry that torch.
Right.
It depends on how many people do it. It depends on if people want to do it. But, they still could do it, but I think a lot of people will be on the Red Dead Redemption Online stuff more than going over to another game.
It's possible.
But Far Cry is strictly first person, so could add another flavor. Who knows? But that's what I think anyway.
I mean, again,
it could be good, it could be bad.
It could go either way. But I think you give yourself that kind of delay, you'll probably see more people wanting a first person experience, and your game's available as a first person experience. And people like cowboys because there aren't a whole lot of cowboy games. This will be kind of up people's alley. It'll, funny enough, it may give people flashback to was it Guns and Call of Juarez and the original Red Dead to some degree.
Right.
Like, you know,
right.
you just kind of harken on that feeling. So, like, they have to play their cards right. And I'm really hoping that Ubisoft, with all their kind of stumblings they've had in, like, the recent couple years, just kind of go, oh shit, we shouldn't release this when another game that probably is going to be more successful is releasing. But none of us work for the company, so I can't really speak for who runs it. So, God, I just hope they're smart. I just really do.
Yeah, same here. I really don't want that game. If that game's announced, I mean, we'll find out in a month, like what happens with everything with Farcry and all that shit. Mm-hmm. But they also, supposedly the other rumor is that they're going to have the next Assassin's Creed game come out this fall, too.
Right. Assassin's Creed Origins is what it's called.
I think it's going to be now called Empire. It's either Empire or Origins. It's one of the two.
Sure, yeah.
To me, that's going to be cannibalizing yourself. If you put out Far Cry, which is an open world FPS, competing with an open world Western like Red Dead, and then, let's say in late November or December, you have Assassin's Creed, which is an open world game in Egypt, it's just too much.
Oh yeah, it really is.
So, like, if they're smart, they'll just release Assassin's Creed, which is more or less very different from Red Dead. You know? And it's a big difference between releasing Red Dead in October, which is a Western game with guns and shit, and releasing Assassin's Creed in November, which is an assassin game in Egypt with scimitars and all this other shit.
Right, it's very different flavors.
Yeah, it's totally different flavors, and people will get both if they can. So that's what I think. Yeah. But who the fuck knows? I mean, hey, look, a landmine. Well, I wonder what happens if I step on it.
We'll definitely know around EA time.
E3.
Yeah, E3. Thank you. What things are coming out? What things have potential dates to them? Yeah, it'll be good to know.
None of these games will apparently be competing with God of War.
Yeah.
Because apparently that game's not going to come out until 18.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Which sucks, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, a pushback at this point in time, now's the perfect time to announce if you have to delay or do something like that. Because no one's going to care.
Yeah, and at the same time, like, God of War never came out with a release date. It just said coming soon after that 15-minute beautiful thing that they showed.
Actually, if you pre-ordered it, like I did earlier, actually at the end of last year, that's what it was. They were saying it was going to come out November 20th or something like that of this year. But I'm actually okay with it being pushed back to like early 2018.
This gets my ability to play Destiny, my hardcore Destiny playing, just like unimpeded.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Destiny's coming out in September.
You're going to be competing with Destiny, and you're going to be competing with Red Dead. Yeah, it's a dumb move. It's very dumb.
Dude, and of course, can't wait for Destiny too.
And of course, on top of everything, like, they're going to be competing with COD World War II, which, yeah, it's like, a COD game, but COD games always do really fucking well.
Yeah.
So, no matter how it is, you're going to be competing with COD, who owns November.
Well, here's how I look at the COD situation. My store probably has about, like, we're the slow store, so we already have about I want to say we have probably about 50-ish pre-orders already.
For COD World War II?
Yeah, and the game's only been announced, 2.5 weeks ago?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like, and we're the slow store, so I can only imagine, like, what the busy ones are looking like.
Oh, yeah, pretty heavy.
I mean, when you think about positioning, though, if you were to release a game, I always wonder, like, okay, Christmas is, like, the premier time, right? That's what people want to make, the holiday
They want to
season.
shoot for there, yes.
Yeah. But I always think there's the games who come out after the new year. I think those guys stand a little bit better chance because the holiday season has, like, this huge hangover period. Like, like, I feel like you drift into, like, this weird, like, basically, like, this huge hype up to Christmas, right, for kids.
Yeah.
And then, Christmas and, like, up to the 28th, everything's good, right? And then things start to kind of dip down, and as you hit New Year's, there's like this bit of a spike. But then things start to drift out because most kids have to go back to school.
Yeah.
And then, of course, games that come out, like, I feel like towards the end of January, it's like, you know, after they've gone through the whole, like, game coma, pretty much. It's like, oh, this seems refreshing.
Yeah, well, it's also the fact that, like, that's how backlogs start, because it's like, okay, I'm going to get this game and this game, and that's going to be it for the year, and then you miss a bunch of other games.
Yeah.
And then later you pick them up when they're on sale or they're used or whatever, and like it just doesn't make it's not feasible. It's like I feel like this argument's been said for like 10 years or even longer. It's like spread that shit out. You know, that's why I'm really happy that Shadow of War is coming out in August.
Yeah.
You know, that I'm gonna have some nice time with that game before anything else comes out. You know, Destiny comes out in September, but still, I mean, Shadow of War will always be there, and it'll be this nice single-player experience. But yeah, like, the summer, there's rarely big games. Titanfall 2 should have come out last year in the spring, or this year in spring, I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's... yeah, that's... Yeah.
You know, I've been thinking about my gaming plans for this summer. I'm probably going to beat Prey. I'm probably going to burn through the Titanfall campaign and then just play a lot of multiplayer on and off.
Right.
Because it looks like fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, there's probably going to play a lot of Overwatch. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Right.
But right now, I'm actually playing fucking Heroes of the Storm again. Because Blizzard's giving out Overwatch content, but you have to play Heroes of the Storm to get it.
Oh, no.
I mean, actually, I don't hate Heroes of the Storm. Out of all
Right.
the MOBAs, if you made me play one, I'd be like, I'll play Heroes because no one cares. Every person who goes into it gives no fucks about winning.
That's kind of what I kind of hear about it a little bit, but I'll probably never play it.
If you don't like MOBAs, I would not recommend it.
Yeah, probably not gonna do it.
It is the friendliest of the MOBAs, but I agree. It's not even though like I keep seeing how like people love it. I'm just not a MOBA player, and so
Yeah.
it's very easy for me to be like, nah, that's not my thing. But more power to you.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I keep it around just so I could get that sweet diva skin.
I'd rather play StarCraft 2 and Diablo 3 and Overwatch for all the Blizzard IPs, all 4 of them, than a fucking MOBA, which is pretty much just their Smash Brothers.
Pretty much. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So we should be wrapping up. I was going to talk about the Judge Dredd TV series and the Deadpool TV series, but guess we'll say that for next week, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a good
if we remember.
Yeah.
If we remember.
Just write it down somewhere.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Apparently, there's also a Hellboy reboot, but we didn't get to that too.
Right.
I want to talk about that next week because I haven't fully read into that.
Okay. Yeah, well, that'll be on the docket for next week.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I guess we should wrap up.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe.
Please, please, please.
Yes.
If
please
you're really
do.
listening, if you want to comment, just comment banana. That lets me know you actually got all the way through to here.
Banana. Okay, don't make that the title. You'll give them a fucking hint.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
All right. Deuces, y'all.
Laters.
Later days.